I'm sure that everybody watching this video has experienced a game over at least once in their lives. You probably felt angry or upset, but it's not like it was the end of the world or anything, right? Yeah, well, about that. Game overs are meant to give you a reason to go back and try again. Usually the words "game over" written on the screen and some sad music is enough motivation. But in Fire Emblem's case, it straight up shows the world ending. Since apparently, once the main character dies, everybody else becomes brain dead and immediately gets themselves killed. And then boom, cut to game over screen. But this changed in Thracia's game over screen. Rather than a dark screen with the words "game over" written on it, we're shown a singular cracked helmet resting on the floor, and a lone sword sheathed into the ground. But the most depressing thing shown isn't the implication of Leaf and his companions dying, but rather the singular piece of text shown on the screen that simply reads, Finn. Notice that it doesn't say "game over" or anything like that. No, it simply is telling you that the story is over. Now the reason that this hits hard is the simple fact that Thracia is essentially just a side quest in the grand story of Judgrill. Selif's the main character, not Leaf. You could still beat FE4 even if you've killed your Leaf. So essentially, the entirety of Leaf's journey in Thracia is inherently meaningless, and sadly enough, not even his death can change that. This singular game over screen, whether intentional or not, highlights the most tragic aspect of Leaf's tale. But hey, who am I kidding? That's all just dumb headcanon stuff. They obviously just wanted to shout out to Finn, who's the best dad in all of Fire Emblem. They just spelled his name wrong, you see? There you go, Kaga. I fixed your game over screen for you. You can thank me later. The GBA Fire Emblem games don't really live up much to Thracia's game over screen, as all three of them have the same text over that red background. In fact, most game over screens are pretty generic going forward, as they all have some sort of picture implying you lost the war, and then they call it a day. But then, one day, Intelligent Systems sat down and said, hey, remember when we actually put effort into these things? And then made the Shadows of Valentia game over screen. Now this is exactly the sort of thing I want to see as punishment for me sucking at the game. Graves as far as the eye can see with numbers too many for me to count. This image alone is enough to make the Shadows of Valentia game over screen the best one that Intelligent Systems has ever made in years. But then they decided to go the extra mile and added quotes from real-life generals and conquerors. These quotes range from simple advice such as "divide and conquer" to philosophy as seen with the quote, "How can a sparrow know the aspirations of a phoenix?" You could tell how much effort they put into these with how many there are. And if you couldn't tell by me overanalyzing Thracia's game over screen, I'm a sucker for small, meaningless details such as this. I don't want to spend too long talking about Shadows of Valentia's game over screen, so I'll just go over my favorite quote. Reach for the weapon you know. A blade or bullet kills the same. A conqueror. One thing that's always confused me about this quote is why did they bother mentioning the bullet here? Are we even playing the same game? Do you see any firearms here? But yeah, bad jokes aside, I'll just recommend checking them out at your own leisure, since there's a lot of these, and it could be a pretty interesting way to waste 10 minutes of your life. Now, unfortunately, after Shadows of Valentia, two houses went back to the tradition of leaving weapons dug into the ground rather than something unique or interesting, and engaged but even less effort with the words "game over" simply written on the screen. However, there is some hope for this game yet. For this last part of the video, I'll be going over Engage's story. Not that anyone plays the game for its story, but hey, you can't say I didn't warn you. But anyway, if you get game over in the final boss, you get a nice little cutscene which I'll play for you now.
What happened?
Everyone you care about, they are all dead.
Dear brother, it's time to go.
Now, even though the game has an absolutely horrid story, I can still appreciate the effort that went into making this. Good on you, Intelligent Systems. Just next time, please, and I mean please, don't just be lazy and leave us with a game over written on the screen. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.